Without a doubt, the biggest moment of the Barcelona World Race so far after the start is the leaders rounding Cape Horn, and that was the honour of Bernard Stam and Jean Le Cam last night. They returned into the Atlantic at just before 1 o'clock in the morning this Wednesday morning after crossing the South Indian and the Pacific Oceans. They lead by about 1,100 miles ahead of Neutrogena, and they're in great fast conditions up climbing into the Atlantic. So the first boat is round and heading north.
Horn is always a little bit tricky. It is very far south. It's about 56.5, which is the furthest south they've been, basically, right? And the other thing is that there's a big mountain ridge over here, the Andes. So if there's any big northwesterly gale coming in, it gets compressed against the mountains, which makes Cape Horn so infamous for being extremely windy with extremely bad sea state. Let's have a look here. Let's go forward. You can see that those boats are sailing in whatever is left of the southwesterly flow, and here you can slowly see a new system starting to move in. Right, northerly in front, here's the front, westerly behind it. Right. As it squashes up towards South America, you can see the breeze building here, and some of the breeze here is very, very strong now. Those boats coming in now, you can see that they've got really, really strong northwesterlies, right, coming in very fast to Cape Horn. There's always a choice here. If you stay south, try to stay in more pressure, more wind, or if you sort of hike up north here, in case this strong northwesterly comes in, so that you've got some angle to come into Cape Horn and sail a fast, safe, and more comfortable angle. Again here, you can see another sequence of strong northwesterlies. Most of the boats come in fairly far north. Coming in from the south like this is a much higher risk option.
And today's animation then showing Chamonix Pujala approaching Cape Horn. Should be there on Tuesday, and good 25 knot breezes from the southeast actually, so close to the wind. Gaia Centris Auditivus and Neutrogena racing close alongside each other yesterday. We Are Water and One Planet One Ocean, One Planet One Ocean Farmaton catching up a little bit by virtue of not having to jibe downwind. Renault Captur visible there in Wellington, left this morning. And Spirit of Hungary still struggling with that problem with their mainsail carriage. One of the sliders is jammed in the mast, and they are rerouting, as you can see, towards Wellington. So that's the state of play today, this Monday. So this morning's leaderboard, Wednesday the 25th of February, looking at the key numbers. Chamonix Pujala, well, heading 037 degrees northeast and making 8.8 knots, a little bit slowed just now, but good VMG for the 24 hours and sailed 323 miles around Cape Horn and heading northeast. Lead is just under 1,100 miles. Neutrogena going well. 17.8 knots, moving ahead of Gaia Centris Auditivus now, surprisingly close, but very different wind conditions. Neutrogena in good breeze, moving fast. Gaia Centris Auditivus caught in a ridge of high pressure between two systems, making 10.3, and the distance really has opened up to 100 miles or thereabouts now between the second and third place boats. We Are Water going okay, 15 knots roughly. One Planet One Ocean 12.2, Renault Captur 11.7, and Spirit of Hungary in Bluff.
Having come into New Zealand and just walked into a dairy and seen the familiar sights and sounds and magazines and chocolates from my childhood. It's fantastic to be back in New Zealand, frankly. I've never been to Bluff, actually, and so it's funny, I had to sail halfway around the world in order to discover a new part of my own country, but it's great. It's a small town, lots of friendly people, and the reception that we've had here at the port and with the customs officials and so on is great.
We are after a lot of work. We made a lot of job. We had a nice dinner at the moment. We will relax. Tomorrow we'll lift the boat. We take out the water and we change the keel boat. And basically the things are running on the way we expected. It is a very strange problem. We have to talk about with the manufacturer how it is possible. It was very difficult to move here in the harbor either. This afternoon done. We put new cars on the mast, and instead of the lock we will have a double halyard. The restart would like to go tomorrow, but I'm afraid we will be not finished. After tomorrow we will restart. That is the reality at the moment. It will be more than 48 hours, a little bit more than we expected, but we have to finish the jobs. I've got a private doctor on the board, so I'm quite well. Of course, I need to have all the time had. We check in every second day. I guess in 3-4 days will be good enough to take out the stitches. At the moment, I don't know, but I feel myself quite well after this adventure.
Going on in the second half of the fleet, really, the dominant feature for Renault, for One Planet, One Ocean and We Are Water, is this high pressure system to the south east of New Zealand. It's the same situation for a few days for We Are Water and for One Planet, One Ocean. They've been struggling with it. They have 15 to 20 knot westerly winds for We Are Water. They're still jibing, and they've done 8 jibes in 3 days. One Planet, One Ocean are in a northwesterly breeze, and they're just tracking along the Antarctic exclusion zone, and they've only really done 1 hour or 1 jibe. The next hours, though, they'll see 15 to 20 knots of westerly breeze. And Renault Captur have got 2 days of upwind sailing. It's going to be difficult for them. They're only making about 10 knots upwind, but tomorrow night they should be into 25 to 30 knots, and then their opportunity to start catching miles on One Planet, One Ocean in particular will start to open up. A quick summary of situation with Spirit of Hungary. Well, they came into Bluff last night, the South Island of New Zealand. Very, very tough conditions, 50 knots at times, driving rain, and really an inhospitable welcome, you'd have to say, for Conrad Coleman back to his native New Zealand, but things very much better this morning for them. They're saying that the stopover will take more than 48 hours. They've had to replace the keel boats. The boat will come out of the water to do that, but they're in good spirits.
Yeah, well, my feelings are that I am excited about this second crossing. I want to be there right now, and I think it's important because it's we want to begin to go direction north and put the ball on the direction of home, and this is a thing that we are expecting for many days ago. The condition right now is we have very light wind. We have a transition between two fronts, and at the moment we are sailing upwind with 10 knots of wind and flat water, so it's quite a strange situation to be sailing like this around Cape Horn, but in a few hours it will change and the northwest wind will come again and will increase. I think that we are going to cross the Cape in typical conditions, so probably 30 knots of wind or something like this. And this is great. We are happy. This is going to be the last windy situation in the south, and we are very happy to sail this last gale.
So Chemney Pujala in good shape, heading north now, and fairly steady, safe and settled rounding of Cape Horn last night. No time for celebration though. Really we're trying to keep prudence foremost in their minds as they went round. But the battle between Neutrogena and Gaius Centris Auditivus is opening out a little bit. Both boats should go round Cape Horn at the weekend, between Saturday and Sunday. projections are that Neutrogena will be around about 8 or 10 hours ahead. The gap has opened to close to 100 miles. Gaius Centris Auditivus have been further south and in lighter airs and making just around about 10 knots over the morning. We spoke with Anna Curbea this morning, and she did really say, she was talking about Cape Horn. It will be her second crossing and really quite impatient to be there. It's such a significant moment for them, and the point at which they head north, and that's what Chemini Pujala have already done. They're looking forward to doing that. Conditions, she explained, a transition zone between the two fronts. At the moment they're actually sailing upwind of 10 knots of wind, flat water, so really strange and unexpected conditions for them at the moment. But in a few hours they'll get back into the strong northwesterlies, back to brochure conditions in the south, so that's really the update from the top three.
Good morning, everybody. Today we are the 25th of February, and after crossing Cape Horn this night, Chemini Pujala is sailing in very good wind condition because the wind is blowing 20 knots coming from the west. So for climbing in the north, it's very easy for them today. So they're going to pass the Strait of Le Maire in the next hours this morning. And the question for them today is, how should they pass Malvinas? Should they pass in the east with 25 knots of southwesterly winds, or should they pass in the west of the Malvinas and with just 10 to 15 knots of wind? So that's the big deal for them today. For the two boats behind them, that means Neutrogena and Gaius, they separated their way during the night. Now we have Neutrogena in the north, Gaius in the south, and both having the same weather condition now because Neutrogena is just south of this warm front, and so that means they are having 20 to 25 knots of northwesterly winds, but during the day the wind is going to decrease and the wind is going to drop to 5 to 10 knots, and Gaius is already in westerly, north and westerly winds between 5 to 10 knots. For the next 24 hours, the wind conditions are going to be very, very light for both of them. And the question is still, should we go north or south of this high pressure, which is still moving along the Chilean coast to the Cape Horn? For We Are Water and One Planet, One Ocean, Pharmaton, they are still south of this high pressure here, and so that means they are still having westerly and northwesterly winds. And for the last 2 days, We Are Water had 8 jibes, doing One Planet, One Ocean had just 1 jibe, so that's why the distance between the two boats is so small since a few days. Concerning Renault Capture, the wind is coming from the northwest, so for them it's just trying to go the fastest they can southeast. And for them the situation is what's going to happen in the next 24 hours, because we had a big low pressure northwest of them. This low pressure is going to move southeast, so that means Renault Capture should be around this position here tomorrow. So is it better to be south of the low pressure or north of the low pressure, or go through the low pressure? And for the two boats, it's going to be the same question, because do we prefer to be here in 10 knots of upwind situation, or here in 25 knots of upwind situation for One Planet, One Ocean, Pharmaton? And for We Are Water, the situation will be still in very light condition, between 10 knots northerlies or northwesterlies if he stays along the AIZ.
Jo també, la veritat és que estic molt content, molt sorprès. M'esperava que anessin bé, però fer 420 milles en 24 hores va ser una gran sorpresa, la veritat. Però bueno, sabíem que era un barco fiable i seguim endavant.
I a veure, la pròxima fita quina és? Quantes milles hem de fer?
Com ho veus? Jo ja em conformo fer-ne des d'aquí fins al final cada dia 350.
150,
No fa falta fer-ne més de 420.
I així arribaríem quin dia?
No ho sé, no tinc ni idea, però aviat.